The Old Mill Pancake House's prominently visible windmill along Route 50 near Sandy Point, Maryland, was an established and popular dining institution. The restaurant was visibly elevated and situated on the periphery of Annapolis. The staple menu during the 1980s offered breakfast, sandwiches, seafood, and steak entrees. The successful business model was about to be tested by proprietor Robert Steiner, to the frustration of his wife, Joyce. Robert had decided to include a new business partner and convert the enterprise into an Italian restaurant. During the spring of 1988, the landmark diner had been closed for nearly a month to accommodate necessary renovations. Loans had been secured to fund the modifications, putting the operation at potential long-term risk. On the evening of May 8, 1988, a police officer friend of the Steiners stopped by the couple's house for conversation and a card game. He remained until 10:45. He was on active duty and nearing the end of his stay was dispatched to answer a call. The evening was tense between the Steiners. Joyce was particularly irritable regarding their financial situation. Robert Steiner reportedly remained stoic and quiet. The policeman left for his call, but 17 minutes later returned to the Steiners' residence following a dispatch regarding a shooting. When he arrived, he discovered Robert Steiner slumped over 2 kitchen stairs, bleeding from a bullet wound to the top of his head, slowly expiring. Joyce Steiner was lying on her back in a state of shock. She confided to the officer that she couldn't take the pressure any longer. She was arrested, and at her trial, testimony regarding the troubled marriage divided public opinion. Potentially explaining Joyce Steiner's actions was a husband well known publicly for his erratic, violent, and impulsive behavior. She claimed that he had habitually abused her throughout the marriage. The police officer who knew both of them painted a different picture. He characterized her as a tough woman, skilled marksman, and owner of a detective agency. She wouldn't back down in an argument, particularly when the couple drank heavily together. That era was different from the contemporary. A husband abusing his spouse was typically spared public disclosure or criminal prosecution. Joyce Stein was convicted of second-degree murder and a handgun violation on February 16, 1989. 2 years later, the term battered spouse syndrome was introduced publicly and recognized during a Maryland Parole Commission review of her conviction. Governor William Schaefer would commute her sentence and she would be released immediately from prison. Today, the windmill remains as a barbecue restaurant.